Yes, people, welcome back to the Gloves Are Offside. We talk boxing, we talk football. Today we're going to get straight into the preview of the Premier League games coming up this weekend. And there's no 12 o'clock kickoff, which is really fucking annoying. Well, I don't know why they keep doing it on Saturdays now, doing the evening 8 o'clock kickoff rather than the 12:30 one. Really gets on my nerves. But first 3 o'clock kickoff, we'll talk about Brentford, Burnley. Big clash down the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, look, we spoke about quite a few times on this pod about Brentford, and they've actually surprised most people, I think. New gaffer in, Thomas Frank leaving. I think Burnley have showed a little bit of fight. I think they'll be in and around the relegation places. I can't see them doing anything spectacular. I just don't think they've got the squad for it. I really like Scott Parker as ex-West Ham player. I think he's a good Championship manager. Hasn't proven anything in the Premier League. It'll be interesting though. Who's at home? Is it Burnley? Did you say?
It is, yeah, Brentford at home.
Brentford at home. I can only see a Brentford win really, 2-0, 2-1.
Yeah, I think it's looking like, obviously I think Wolves are cut off adrift anyway, but it's looking like Leeds and Burnley sort of, there could be a bit of a gap opening with West Ham getting form, Nottingham Forest getting some form. Obviously nothing's done yet, but that's how it's looking at. These are the sorts of game I think Burnley need to win, Leeds need to win if they're going to have any chance of staying up, because Brentford are at the minute 6 points ahead. If Brentford get a win here, open up a 9-point gap, it's looking a bit tough for these guys at the bottom to get out of it. So I think Burnley really need a win, but as you said, Brentford have been impressive. They've been in every game I've seen them this season, haven't really bent over for anyone, which is the opposite of what I thought they'd be. So yeah, I'm expecting a Brentford win. I'd like to see, just for the league, a Burnley win, because I like a bit of a relegation, but I don't want too big a gap. I mean, I'm sure as a West Ham fan, you probably want
to say, no way, mate. I want to lose every game
from the rest. But just in terms of for the league, I'd like to see Burnley win, just as a bit more competitive. But yeah, I mean, like you said, there was a bit of early fight from Burnley and Leeds, but that seems to be they seem to be finding their level now. So yeah, I'm expecting nothing but a Brentford win from this one, to be fair. Brings us on. We've spoken about Leeds just now, but Manchester City at home to Leeds. I'm triple captain Ireland in my fantasy team this week, I think. Although City are off form, obviously they lost in the league to Newcastle last game and lost in the Champions League as well, which was a bit of a shock. They're so hit and miss, but they won't lose this one. Not at home to Leeds. I think this is a brashing.
I can't see anything other than maybe a 4-0. Look, as you said, they're on a bit of a bad form at the minute. Lost their last two, but look, Haaland at home, he's going to get a couple of goals. I actually think, I'm going to say it now, I think Daniel Farke will be the next to go. I can't see any kind of, look, they haven't recruited well. He's a good Championship manager, gets teams up. We've done it to death on this podcast, really, but I think he'll be the next to go. Who they bring in, I don't know. I don't know if that's too early of a call, but I just can't see him doing anything, really.
I mean, they weren't even, I don't think, even after he got promotion, they weren't even sure about keeping him. And like you said, their recruitment hasn't been brilliant. They don't look like they've got a Premier League squad, and he's not a Premier League manager. So I think if they're going to do it, they need to go now before they get cut off adrift. And this is a fixture that's a bit of a throwaway for him anyway. I don't think anyone's going to be expecting him to get much off it. But yeah, I agree. I don't think he's got long left. If they have got any hopes of staying up, I think they need to get him out and just get somebody with some experience of. Well, you look. I know the squads are better. Nottingham Forest and West Ham squads are better, but they've got rid of managers where it won't work. Nuno was a bit of a different situation for Wolves. Nottingham Forest, not that it wasn't working out for them. Sorry, but no, they had Ange, didn't they? Sorry, got rid of Ange.
Yeah.
You guys got rid of Potter, where it wasn't really working out, and they've got. You both got in a managers with Premier League experience, proven experience in the league, and look at your fortunes have changed. So, although Leeds' squad isn't as good, I think at the very minimal is what they need is a Premier League proven manager who can come in and shore it up a bit, because.
And the thing is that in any organisation, if you're umming and ahhing about the guy at the top who's going to manage the team, most of the time it's going to end one way. It's a bit like what Man United did with Ten Hag. After they won the FA Cup, they were like, do we keep him, do we not? I think that kind of tells you everything, doesn't it? But Leeds as a club, look, they've got a fantastic fan base. Ellen Road, especially under the lights. Look, I think they're a team this season that's going to have to rely on their home form, try and pick up the points at home and just try and do it that way. But who's out there that they could bring in? I can't really think of any standout names. As you said, with Premier League experiences, that kind of ticks that box. You know what I mean?
It's tough.
It's a difficult one.
Yeah, I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
no, City win. I can't see anything other than a
Yeah,
City
I
win.
think this is I think this is the easiest prediction of the weekend. Really, a City win here, even despite their bad form. This is going to be a bit of a rollover, I reckon. Sunderland, Bournemouth. It's a good game. This two clubs that have been overachieving this season. Sunderland lost last time out against Fulham, obviously, and Bournemouth played your lot in a bit of a weird game. That was obviously first half you get the 2 goal lead, and then second half they absolutely hammered you. Excuse the pun, but obviously ended the draw. But they haven't won in 4 now. I think 3 or 4 games themselves, Bournemouth. So, but their performance was still there against West Ham in the second half. So this is a tough one to call as well.
I'm going to sit on the fence for this one. I'm going to go 1-0. Look, just talking about it, you touched on it. We played them last week. Look, they've got a fantastic manager as well. Could be overachieving potentially, but I think they've got a really good squad as well. Sunderland at home, aren't they? And I think they'll use that to their advantage. Home crowd behind them. Tough one to call, but I'm going to go 1-0. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sunderland again. Yeah, at home is where they're going to pick up most of their points. Like you mentioned about Leeds, when you get certain. I think it's these one city clubs. The home supports kind of carries them through games sometimes. Bournemouth though, they need to get back to winning ways. Really, I mean they're in a great position, but you don't want to go on a run of games without a win. So it'd be important for them to do. I'm not sure they had a few injuries against you, didn't they? They had Clivert was out and Semenyo was out. So
Semenyo was out as well. Yeah,
I'm not sure if they're on their way back or not. If they are, then I think they could pick up a win there. But Sunderland, as we know, that they're trotting along as well. So gun to head, I might go for a Sunderland win.
Really?
Sunderland win, yeah. I don't know. Bournemouth just their second half they were really good against you, and like I said, it depends if they get their players back. But yeah, I fancy Sunderland. Everton, Newcastle, big win for Everton Monday night, down to 10 at Old Trafford.
What was your opinion on the red card? Sorry, before we touch on it, I mean that was a bit crazy. I mean, I know there's a new rule that says if you touch someone in the face or whatever, but surely that's just a yellow card for each, and the manager sorts it out in the dressing room. No, I mean
he doesn't need to do it. It wasn't exactly like a Bowie or Dyer situation, was it, where they're throwing punches?
Exactly. Yeah, look, no one's shirt was ripped open. There wasn't proper. It was a bit of a handbag situation, wasn't it? Yeah, and funny you say that. I was talking to somebody at work about it, and they said, well, look, it's not Kieran Dyer, Lee Bowyer. They weren't having to be separated by anyone. But Moisey was like, yeah, I kind of like it. He was like, I like it when my players, angry at each other for not doing a good pass.
Yeah, I don't think he'd say that if they didn't get the 3 points. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I just think it's a bit of a silly rule, isn't it?
I think the striking in the face, I get it, but I don't think he had to give him a red card. He could, like you said, just a yellow card or a stern talking to. When it's your own player, it's a bit, like we said, unless you're kicking lumps out of each other, then. But I don't know. Yeah, these refs make up as they go along. I think half the time. Yeah. But it was a brilliant win for them, and obviously Newcastle with a big win themselves against Man City. Newcastle have played midweek, lost to Marseille. Aubameyang rolling back the years in that one. So I don't know if the midweek game takes it out of them. Everton at home have been quite strong. I think they've only lost to Tottenham there actually. But
I can see Everton doing it. I think Newcastle are very hit and miss, as you said. They get the result against City at home as well. I mean, they've struggled away. Obviously, we beat them away. Yeah. Their away form isn't that great. I can see Everton doing it. Maybe a 2-1. I'm going to go for.
I'm going to sit on the fence and go for a draw in this one. I think, like you said, Everton have been strong at home, barring the Tottenham game. Newcastle have been poor away from home. They're better at home themselves, but. I think, they played really well against. Like you say, they're hit and miss. You don't know what to expect. They're one of those teams. There's a few teams in the Premier League like that this season. One week they're good, one week they're not. But yeah, I'll sit on the fence and go for a draw for this one. Yeah, that's the 5:30 kickoff. The 8 o'clock kickoff, as we mentioned, Tottenham against Fulham. We haven't done a pod since the North London derby, so let me just say,
I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, man. We absolutely. Do you know what? I was saying before in the preview pod last week that I was expecting us to smash them, and I when it gets to derby days, it's always quite nervous. You always think, oh, what if? But I had no doubt going into this one. I've seen Tottenham a lot this season, and they're not good. They're not good. I mean, manager's taken a lot of stick, but I think he needs time because I do think he's a good manager, but I just don't think their squad's good. And we are Oh, very good. So I didn't expect it. I expected a 3 or 4 nil. I said, and it was turned out to be 4-1. But I don't know what he was thinking coming and just. I was hoping because it's a derby that they might come and at least try and play a bit, but he just sat everyone behind the ball and they weren't even trying to play out really. They were just sort of lumping it when they did get the ball. It's the worst I've ever seen a Tottenham team turn up, and I've seen some bad Tottenham teams over the years. So yeah, that was brilliant. So I don't. They're gonna have to try and put it right here, but I've really other than when they played Man City earlier in the season, I've not been impressed with Tottenham at all. Their
No,
style of
I
play,
haven't.
they do have a lot of injuries in fairness, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about them.
Well, look, going into that derby, I've never known a derby game where the majority of fans and even of Tottenham are saying, yeah, Arsenal win. I've never had it that one-sided before. Obviously, look, Arsenal were flying. But as you said, I would have thought, look, they've got a lot of injuries, but you would have thought they would at least try and come and play. Look, I wasn't expecting a 4-4 back in, what was it, 2009
Yeah,
or anything
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But you would have thought, look, like, there are parts in games where teams are going to have to kind of sit back and soak up pressure. Maybe the first 10, 15, quieten down the crowd a little bit. But they just did get out their own half, did they? And then look, the penultimate thing's going to happen is yeah, a lot of their players are still Ange players. I kind of criticised the Kudus move. I don't know why he went there because he's the type of player that when you're playing well, great, he's fantastic if he's got good players around him. When they're in the kind of position they're in, I don't remember him doing anything in that game against you guys. And I'm not sounding like a bitter West Ham fan here. I genuinely think he's one of them players that, when the chips are down, is he going to want to, away from home, start putting tackles in? Not really. Is he going to want to, lift the players around him? He's not. I think it's between Frank and the Leeds manager that will be next to go. I don't think Tottenham will give him the time. I honestly don't.
I think it'd be very harsh if they didn't because, like I said, I don't. Even when they signed him, I thought it was a sensible decision for him. I don't think he's
Mm,
going to take them to where they want to be, where they think they should be. But I think they're deluded for thinking that anyway. Tottenham are not going to. They're not going to win titles. They're not. That's not what they're going to do. And he's not the
mm.
sort of manager. They've tried to get managers in like Mourinho's and Conte's who have a history of winning titles, and it hasn't worked for them. So I thought Thomas Frank was actually an actual sensible signing for such a batshit crazy club.
Yeah.
And if they get rid of him now, then I don't know where they go because I think let him bring some of his players in, give him a bit of time, and he might solidify them and get them sort of fighting for European places again. Not this season, but
Mm.
in at least give him this season to get to grips with things and see how it goes next season. But yeah, who knows, man? Xavi Simons as well has been done nothing for him. He's their big money signing in summer.
No.
Obviously, he was not their first choice. They wanted Eze, but he's coming. He looks lightweight. He doesn't look like he's ready to play in the Premier League. So yeah, man, this is looking a bit peak
I
for
ain't
him.
complaining.
No, I'm loving every minute of it, seeing it, and I hope it continues. But they got Fulham this week. Fulham got a 1-0 win against Sunderland last week. I think, like I keep saying with Fulham, their problem is goals, man. They need a goal scorer. I've seen them play well in games and not being able to get anything out of it. And they do have a good defence, although Calvin Bassey's been a bit shaky
I
this
don't rate
season.
Calvin Bassey, man. Come on.
Yeah, no,
You
yeah,
can't. Nah, nah.
he's not brilliant. He makes a few mistakes, and up front it's hard putting the ball in the back of the net. But again, Marcus was a good manager. I think his contract's running out as well. I think they've offered him one. This is what I was hearing on Talksport that they've offered him a new contract, which they obviously want to keep him because he's brilliant. Again, there's not many great managers out there. But I think he's got a big decision to make because if they're not going to match his ambition and spending a bit of money, which they haven't done in a while for them, then they could find themselves dropping down the league. So
And I think they will. I think if you look historically at the clubs he's managed, normally you look at around the second, third season is when things start to go wrong. He did, Hull City when he was there, I think they had some financial turmoil. They haven't obviously returned back to the Premier League. Everton as well, when he was there, kind of the second, third season didn't go to plan. I can see it happening again. I don't think Fulham, look, a couple of seasons ago were in and around ninth, eighth position, kind of creeping into that Conference League place. As you said, I just don't know where the goals are. And he's probably had a conversation behind the scenes and said, look, are we going to get any players in January, in the summer? I think he'll let his contract run out. And look, like any manager, when you know your contract's going to run out, are you really going to be putting in the hours and really care about what you're going to do in January? Not really. So I think, obviously, look, they ain't going to go down, but I can just see him bottom half, not really
yeah,
doing much.
I think that's what he's waiting for to see if they actually back him in January a bit. get to the end of the season, see where he's at, and then decide whether he's going to sign the contract or not, because he doesn't want to commit another however many years they've offered him. If he's just going to be, he's got more aspirations than to just be a mid-table or lower Premier League club. And yeah, I do fear for him if he leaves. It depends who they're getting, obviously, but I do fear for them a little bit. And I'm going for a Tottenham win here, just because I think they have to bounce back after that to give their fans a bit of a pick me up after what we did to them, and also just the fact that I just don't see where the goals come from for Fulham, as I say. So I think it's quite a good fixture for them, but you never know with Tottenham. You never know.
You don't. I think it's only really City I remember them playing, and there's a few games in the Champions League that they've looked okay in, but apart from that, they haven't looked good. But saying that, 2-1 Spurs, I reckon.
Yeah, I think I just nick this one. That wraps up Saturday. Moving on to Sunday, we've got Palace Man United. And straight away, I'm gonna go for a Palace win. I back United.
100, yeah.
I backed United a few times this season because I think, do you know what? Sometimes they look like they might be getting it together. That Brighton game, they look really good, and you think they get the odd win here and there. But every time you start to think, okay, maybe they turn in a corner, they just go and put in a performance like they did against 10 men at home to Everton on Monday. It's just spineless. That's absolutely spineless.
Well, does Amorim know that you're allowed to play another way? Like it's so ridiculous. I mean, look, I was having a chat with a few Man United boys at work, and my point is, right, if you're going to give a manager a contract at a club, naturally you're going to want, a couple of transfer windows. It's expected that at some point you're going to play how the manager wants to play. But you've got to use what you have. And if you know that, look, if you're playing a back five at home to Everton and it's not working, you have to change it up. You can't have excuses of injuries, this player's not, mate. You've got to make it work. And I think the whole point of a manager is to manage what you have and the resources that you've got. Mate, you're 1-0 down against 10 men and you're sticking a back five. Like, I don't know, man.
I couldn't agree more. And he's playing players out of position just to suit his formation, his system that hasn't worked the whole time he's been there. And you know what? Even like their recruitment has been poor. The players they have bought in haven't been good enough. These Dorgus and players like that. And
Sesko don't look good. Yeah,
Zertsky up front, he's just nothing. He's just nothing. He's got nothing to him. So I don't know who's doing their recruitment. I don't know. Like, I think it was wrong to bring in Amorim because if Amorim, in his interview, he must have said, "Look, this is the style I'm playing." And if you don't have the players for it, then why hire him in the first place? But from going back to him, how can you be any Premier League manager, but a manager of such a big club in the Premier League and have one style of play, no flexibility at all, no matter what the circumstances of the game, no matter the game state? It baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. But what's his name? Who's bought the club? He's saying he's given him 2 years straight. So, I mean, I don't know what he's expecting to change.
No, I think. Look, obviously, I'm not pretending to know the details of what goes on behind the scenes. I know there's a lot of fan backlash against the ownership and all of that, but strictly on the pitch, I mean, I'm seeing people saying about Luke Shaw doesn't get high enough on the pitch, but mate, when you're playing the back five, Amorim must be saying to him, "Look, I want you here. I don't want you going past the halfway line." There's a certain point in football where, I know players have to take responsibility, yeah, but there's a point where you can look at kind of the formation and the way they're playing, and you just know Amorim saying, "Look, I don't want you coming past the halfway line. I want to sit back, soak up the pressure, try and hit a counter-attack." They haven't got the players to do it. I think I look at Sesko, I look at Zertsky. They're so immobile. They don't move. They don't, Dorgu, another one. As you said, the recruitment's been so poor. He's going to be the architect of his own downfall, I think. Look, I don't know where they kind of plan to go from here. And they've spent a lot. I don't think that gets talked about enough. They've spent a lot of money. They've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of the strikers they bought. Yeah, Højlund, he's now out on loan. Zertsky he does nothing every time I see him play. Sesko, okay, he's new to the league and he's young. Arsenal were interested in him, and I was getting quite excited about it. We've obviously ended up with Gyökeres, but maybe he in time he'll be a good striker. There was a lot of big clubs after him, so perhaps he's got something. But why they keep going for a young project striker? Why didn't they just go out and buy someone who's guaranteed to score goals at that level? There's people out there. Osimhen was out there, or even an Ollie Watkins. He hasn't been great this season at Villa, but I think that's for other reasons. But you go and get someone like Ollie Watkins, who you know is going to score goals in this league, just to get you back up to somewhere near where you need to be, rather than keep spending big money on unproven players, and they can't handle being the main man for Man United yet. So yeah, I don't know where they go to next, but I can't see Amorim's. I know they're saying they're giving him 2 years, but I just can't see him staying that long, to be honest.
Yeah, but the thing is, as you said, look, if the players can't handle it, they've got to realise that no matter what position United are in the league, they've still got a massive pool. It's Man United; they're one of the biggest clubs in the world. So no matter who they're after, they would most likely get. Yeah, I don't know where they go from here. Mate, they've dominated the Premier League long enough, to be honest. I really, mate, I grew up with United winning it every season, as did you. So I don't feel sorry for them at all, mate.
Yeah, we won a few ourselves in that time, but
Oh, well, long time ago.
yeah, yeah, and Palace. I think just it's a bad game for Man United to play because Palace at home are really good, and if they sense a bit of a wounded animal, I think they'll be a bit relentless and take them apart. And another team with a really good manager and some top players, and at home when that atmosphere gets going again, I could see this being a bit of a bad one for Man United, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, look, Selhurst Park, home crowd, right near the pitch. It'd be a good atmosphere as well. I can't see anything other than a Palace win. I'm going 2-0 Palace.
Agreed. Villa Wolves, bit of a derby up there. Wolves, just what?
They're done. They're done.
Yeah, they're done. I think if they turn this around somehow, it's the greatest escape ever. And Rob Edwards is a genius, but again, I don't understand. I know we've spoken about it, but I don't understand his decision making going there in the first place. Villa are bang on form now as well. I think they're fourth. Let me just have a look at the table. I think they're fourth in the league now. Fifth, fourth in the league.
Yeah, they're only a few wins from going behind you boys.
Away, so. After a really bad start, he's pulled it togetger. They've got
on the flip side of what we were just talking about, that's a manager that has stuck to the way he wants to play. To be fair, I just think Villa have got better players to do it. We spoke, I think, when I was first on the pod. Villa were stuck in playing out from the back. And he was quite not stubborn, but he was set. Look, this is how I want to play. Gave it a few games, and now they're flying again. So depends how you look at it. I think there's, I think they've got better quality in their team to kind of do that. But Wolves, I mean, do you think they'll do a derby? Do you reckon?
If you're looking at their squad,
they've got 2 points at the moment. I think it's possible.
You look at their squad and there's just not really much Premier League quality in there. There's a lot of. I just think you can't just keep selling all your best players every season and not replacing them. If you get the players they used to have, Pedro Neto, Ruben Neves, and they had some brilliant players. And they haven't replaced them properly. The recruitment's been poor, and they've just allowed themselves to fall away. And now, how are they turning that around? You've got 2 points after 12 games or whatever it is, and the confidence must be an all-time low. They have players arguing with fans, obviously old manager arguing with fans. Rob Edwards is in now, loses his first game. I can't see him getting anything here, and I think the rot is just set in. They need to go big in January, but I don't think they will. So, and they might even be done by January anyway. To be fair, so yeah, I think this is a Villa win all day long, and it could be anything. It could be anything in terms of a scoreline. Forest Brighton, what's a result for Forest on the weekend? 3-0 Anfield.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I mean. They were in a bit of a false position anyway because obviously there was the turmoil with Nuno and then Ange coming in. That was a disaster. So I always thought once they got Dyche in that he'd get them up, but Liverpool were obviously there for the taking. Who knows what's going on with them? But it was a brilliant performance anyway and a great result. Brighton are good though. Again, they sneak up there. You don't realise how hard they are in the league now. They're sixth in the league and always worth a result. But they're another one. Brighton. Not hit and miss, but I think they pick up points and then they don't. But it's tough to call. I'll go for a Forest win just because I think Dyche has got them playing some good stuff now.
I think they've got the momentum with them now. After a result like that, you go to Anfield, no matter what kind of position Liverpool are in. That's a fantastic result. They've got quality. Gibbs White, I could see Forest doing it 2-1.
Yeah, and I was just checking a European game on Thursday is at home to Malmo, so it's not like it's a long journey for them, or they'll probably be able to rotate their squad on that as well. But Brighton are a good team, so I wouldn't put it past Brighton to take the win. But yeah, I'm going for Dyche to continue the good form there and for them to surge up the league table. Your boys, 2:00 on Sunday against Liverpool. What are you expecting?
Well, it's a weird one. I mean, if there's any time to play Liverpool, it's got to be now. I don't know what's going on with them. they just seem to be leaking goals at the minute. But yeah, our game on the weekend was a bit of a weird one. It was a game of two halves. We absolutely dominated the first half. 2 goals from Callum Wilson. That was a signing I criticised, not because of Callum Wilson himself. I've actually been a massive fan of him throughout his career, and I remember saying to you in the 2022 World Cup that he should have been part of the squad. I just think when we signed him as our only striker with no one else, it's a bit like we're relying on a 33-year-old injury-prone player.
Yeah, that's the problem. Injury problems as well.
But look, at the moment he's fit. He scored 2 goals. I think Nuno was the master of his own downfall. We're 2-0 up, pissing down the rain. It wasn't a game for any team to kind of play on the floor, and we used that to our advantage. Long ball, knocked down, and Callum Wilson was there. But he got subbed off in the 52nd minute. He wasn't injured. He didn't have a knock. And he kind of looked around as if to say, "What, am I being subbed off?" We don't have the players to soak up pressure for 45 minutes. Max Kilman is not that guy to do that. But look, I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, is it, a point gained or 2 points dropped? I think it's 2 dropped. I think, yeah, look, if it wasn't for Areola, we probably could have lost. But I just think the fact that we were 2-0 up, you can't do that away from home.
I think it's tough. It's like probably before the game you take a 2-2 draw.
But 100%, mate. I would have snapped your hand off for a draw all day.
It's like when I was saying when Arsenal drew with Sunderland. It's like in the grand scheme of things, it's not a bad result. But once you get yourself into a position to win, you want to see it out. But it was a weird. I think you just went safety first, way too early. Like Bournemouth throw good football inside, and if you just sit back, they're gonna have chances. And I mean, as you said, Areola was brilliant. And you know what? It was a bit weird because I thought he was a bit shaky coming out for crosses and stuff before, and then he just made a load of worldy saves. So he earned you the point really. But yeah, it was just strange. He just like if you play like that with 15 minutes to go or 20 minutes to go and you're 2-0 up, you think, all right, cool, we can salvage the win here. But to do that for the whole of the second half, and as you say, take off your striker, so you've got no real outlet. Yeah, it was a bit of a. I think Nuno got that one wrong, but as you said, it's the right time to play Liverpool. I think they've lost 8 out of their last 11 games. This is recording before their Champions League game, so I don't know how that one's gone, by the way. But what can you expect from Liverpool these days? They just seem to be getting turned over.
Yeah, and I think we've got the home advantage. I want to go for a draw. I don't, even though they're at their worst, I don't think we've got the quality to finish them off. But who knows? Look, no one would have thought Forest would have went there and thumped them up. But I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
I find it hard to predict Liverpool games at the minute because I always in my head I think, they're going to click at some point and they're going to get it right, but then they just keep getting beaten.
Yeah.
Salah is miles off it. The Ekitike, Isak, I don't know. Like Ekitike was bang on form when Isak was injured, and they're taking him out of the team and put Isak in. Isak doesn't look fit. As I say, Salah's been off the boil. Wirtz, I don't know if he's coming back from injury or if he's still injured, but when he has played, he hasn't looked like he's physical enough. Their wing backs are terrible. Van Dijk's still Van Dijk, but he can't hold a defense together all himself. So they got serious problems. If you want a prediction from me, I still don't know if you lot are that good, so I'm going to go for a Liverpool win. But
as I said, look, I don't think even at their worst, we can kind of get a win. I think Liverpool got too many. They're trying to shoehorn too many superstars in. Last season, it was quite simple. Salah was the outlet. He's gone off the boil. As you said, we're taking Ekitike out, trying to put Isak in. It's just not working at the minute. But saying that, look, they're going to want a response after being beat at home. So, my head's saying 1-1 draw, I think. But who knows? Who knows, man?
Fair play. And a big one to see out the weekend's Chelsea Arsenal. Now, Chelsea have sort of become not you can't call them the main rivals for the title yet because City is still going to be involved, but they've got themselves into the position where if they do beat us and they're at home, they're only 3 points off. They battered Barcelona as well last night, so I'm expecting a tough game. I was super confident going into the top one. I think we'll get the job done here. I just think Arsenal are turning into a bit of a winning machine. I think we know how to get the job done now. We've had so much heartbreak. It's like we've been through experiences together, and we will just find a way in these sorts of games. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a draw because I think Chelsea are on form as well, and I'm expecting it to be a tight, sort of gritty game. But I think we'll come out of this one with a nice little 2-1 win. Open up a bit of gap, but we can't afford to slip up here really because then that just brings everybody back in. If we're talking Chelsea. think they're getting a bit excited because because they are second now and then they've beaten Barcelona. But I just don't think they're ready. I think maybe next season they might be ready to mount a title challenge. But they still got defensive problems, I think, and they still got a lot of young players who probably aren't ready to go to that next step yet. Which is why I think we will beat them, because I think we're just so in the zone at the minute. But because of the form they're on, I think they'll make it tough for us.
No, 100%. As you said, I think they haven't had the squad together for the last couple of years like Arsenal have. Obviously, look, you've had quite a few title challenges now under Arteta. I think, look, we were saying how good Chelsea were against Liverpool, and then they went on a dip a little bit. So I think it'll be the same again. I think maybe 2-1, 3-1 Arsenal. I think they'll use this season as momentum, try and challenge properly next year. But look, great result from yesterday. I just don't think they're at that level yet where you can say every position they've got a quality player. Look, they've got a young squad as well, so look, it's going to take time. I just think they're too inconsistent at the minute.
Yeah,
but who knows? Look, it's a London derby, man.
I think they're a bit like City in that sense. Obviously, City have got Haaland and they've got Donnarumma, so they do, and they've Ruben Dias and people who have won before, which is why I think they'll be more involved in the title race. But they're still in a bit of a transition, and they've got some young players and some players getting used to the Premier League. But Chelsea, they are building something slowly. Like a few years ago, I couldn't see what their plan was, and it was just a bit all over the place. But Caicedo's settled down; he's really good now. Cucurella's looking really good. Obviously, they're missing Cole Palmer, but he's a brilliant player. And Esteval looks like
he has quality, man.
Doing what he's doing at his age, man, and silencing Barcelona. It was that was a top performance, and he looks really good. So I think they need to try and start him against us. I think Rush has been quite good with him. He's dropping him for a few games and playing him, not sure throwing him in every game. But I think such a big game like this, if they do want to be involved in titles, they sort of need to try and let him off the leash. Not that I think it will do him any good, but remains to be seen. So yeah, I'm going for an Arsenal win like I always do. I'm always confident, but yeah, we can't afford no slip-ups to this one. Well, obviously, I'll say again, we don't know the Arsenal Bayern score yet because we're recording this just before kick-off. So it's a big week for us, and the North London derby, Bayern Munich, and then Chelsea away. So if we can come through it unscathed, still top of the league. Well, we will be top of the league anyway, but with a bigger or same gap at the top of the league, and then still in the top two of the Champions League, I'll be more than happy with that. No Monday night games. Is there anything else football-wise that you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, should we talk about our little debate that we had last week during the international break? So for those listening, international break. I'm not the biggest fan of it, even when it's the Euro or World Cup qualifiers. And Chuck, who's not here today, said to me, would I rather West Ham get a trophy or England win the World Cup? In a heartbeat, mate. West Ham get a trophy all day, and you boys were hounding me for that. I can't believe it. I don't know where this is. It's
not the fact that you've come to the conclusion of West Ham. It's the fact that you shot it down within a heartbeat, no doubt about it. I'm like, have you really got your head around? I watched that final. I was with you. I watched that final with you. The one where we lost, not the Spain one, when we lost to Italy.
Yeah.
We were heartbroken together, and it's like, how big and massive it would be for England to win a trophy. And for you to just shoot it 100% no doubt as West Ham, it's like, I'm not even saying I would choose England over Arsenal. I think I'd have to flip a coin personally and just. I've seen Arsenal.
Is it that close for you? Really?
Yeah,
I'm shocked at it. Really. Let me tell you why, right? And look, I'm not one of these Liverpool fans that don't like England, but when it comes to tournament time, look, you know me, I'm one of the biggest England fans out there. I don't pretend to be one of these guys that watch all of the qualifying games. I don't. I'm not going to lie to you. What you've got to remember, right? My first tournament watching England that I vaguely remember, I was only young, was the 2004 Euros when Rooney was coming through. But the main one, where I was collecting the sticker album, all of that was World Cup 2006, and that was a team we were meant to win everything, the golden generation. And obviously we come to learn now that it's very cliquey, and it was just very disappointing growing up. 2008 we didn't qualify, so for the Euros. 2010 again, we had this kind of coming to the end of that golden generation, got beat by Germany, and there was never ever that togetherness. So when I used to watch England growing up, it was just Gerrard, Lampard. Obviously there was no West Ham players in it because apart from Robert Green, and we know how that ended. But and then it was only really Southgate that made me kind of fall in love with watching England again. And I think that's not just me. I think you could probably be a testament to that as well. Like I look back at 2014 in Brazil, we didn't even get out of the group. So I've never had that proper love watching England growing up. But when it comes to tournament time, I'm there for it. But I just think for me, I love my club too much. I've spent too much money and done too many miles, man. I'd watch us win the FA Cup all day.
I think, obviously, I've seen Arsenal win a lot more than you've seen West Ham win as well. So you have to take that into consideration. I have seen it. It's been a long time, but I have seen Arsenal win the league. I haven't seen my country win anything, and we've been close a couple of times, and it's been heartbreaking. But yeah, man, I love my country. I know you do too, but.
Yeah.
I love the national team, man. I just do. Like my first, I'm obviously a bit older than you. My first tournament was Euro '96, and I feel like that was the reason I fell in love with football. And then obviously 2 years later, Arsenal win the double. As a kid, that was my introduction to football. Euro '96, England coming so close, and Arsenal winning the double a couple of years later. But it was that Gaza goal, and that team was just. I loved it. And then we had Euro 2004, obviously World Cup '98 stuff in between, but Euro 2004 where Rooney was on fire, and I believe we would have won that if he never got injured. And then there were the down years where your Icelands and you're not qualifying and you're drawing to Algerians and stuff like that. And it's been poor. And Gareth had brought it back and brought the belief back. And just after going through those heartbreaks in the last two Euro tournaments, man, I just need to feel it. I need to feel it. So that's where I'm at. But I wouldn't say I'm country over club. I'm not at all. I want Arsenal to win stuff as well. Yeah. I think it would be a flippable coin. It was just the way you shot it down. You was like, absolutely, that's
yeah. I think for me, but yeah, no. By the way, but when it comes to tournament time, man, I'm going to be there for it. I'm going to. Well, we live and breathe football. By the way, it was a hypothetical question. Like, I'm not, I'm never going to watch England again. It was an interesting debate that we had. I just think for me, yeah, look, your Iceland with Roy Hodgson in Brazil. 2012, I think we could have done better. Oh, look, we got knocked out by Italy and all that. I never had, I don't know, maybe it was growing up, we didn't have many West Ham players. Look, West Ham as a club, we've got a big connection to the England national team. We've had West Ham managers manage England as well. But I mean, look, I was always told growing up, West Ham won the World Cup, but I don't know. Look, for me, it was just a hypothetical question.
It's interesting.
For me, mate, honestly,
people in the comments will make of it as well. To be fair, so I look forward to hearing that. There's some boxing this weekend. It's the football chat done, I think. What do you want to start with? You got Ben Whittaker. He's making his first appearance since signing for Matchroom. He's fighting Benjamin Gavazi, some German fella. I can't say I've heard of him before. Checked his record though. He lost his very first fight, but he's unbeaten since then. 19 wins since losing his first fight, so it's a decent record. But I've never seen him box. I don't know who he is. There's no one on his record. I'm expecting this just to be a showcase of Ben Whittaker's skills. I don't think they're going to throw him into a tough fight, their first fight with his new promotional company. So I'm expecting him to be back to what we expect from Ben Whittaker: a bit of showboating, a bit of showmanship, and it should be a solid victory. If it isn't, then I think the alarm bells are ringing.
Yeah, 100%. I think, look, first bout with Matchroom, they're not going to chuck him in the deep end. I think problem that he's got is that when he was coming through, he was doing the Nassim Hamed, kind of Muhammad Ali kind of showboating, which is great. But then you saw the other side of that. When it's not going your way, you can't do any of that. And we had the whole falling out the ring stuff. I think his reputation went down massively. Look, if you want my opinion on it, I think he did that on purpose, and I don't think there was an injury, personally, in my opinion. Then he had the rematch with Liam Cameron, got the job done. So look, I don't know anything about the other geezer, but I can't see anything else than a Whittaker win, really.
Yeah, I'm expecting a bit of showcasing of his skill. I expect him to go back to that sort of showboating style, which he didn't do against Cameron. And it makes him look a bit like a flat track bully, like he's willing to do that to journeymen. But once he steps up to anyone with some sort of pedigree, which I really like Liam Cameron, but I don't think he's of a massive level himself. And he stepped up and he got stuck on him a bit, and then he quit. Like, it's difficult to say a boxer's quit. Because we're not in there doing that, but he took. I think when the flipping over the ring thing happened, I don't think he flipped over the ring on purpose. I think that happened, and he just took his moment and said, "You know what? I don't like it. I'm under the pressure here. I'm just going to get out of it." And it was a bit embarrassing for him. He got the lick back in the rematch, and I think he's just got to start building his reputation back from now. But he's definitely got talent. But I'm just not sure if he's. I know he knocked out. Well, he got the stoppage against Cameron in the second round. But he's in a division with some big hitters, and I'm just not sure if he's got the power. He's definitely got the skill. He's definitely got the technical ability. But I'm just not sure if he's got the power to hang at the highest level in this division. So I'm looking to see if he can just start taking some people out rather than going rounds and and winning on points, because as he steps up in class, I think these guys carry power, and he does get hit. I've seen him get hit by journeymen, so
I was going to say,
I do
well,
would
you
like
say, if has he got the power to finish people off? Has he got the chin to take a punch?
yeah,
I would question that.
yeah.
Yes,
So it's interesting, but yeah, it'll be a fun fight. He always brings entertainment, doesn't he? Really, there's always something.
100%. I think people love to hate him, and
yeah, but I think he knows. I think that's his whole thing. He
that's his
doesn't
brand.
care.
Yeah.
That was like Floyd Mayweather made a career of it. All right, you turn up to see me get knocked out. That's what Jake Paul's doing now. To be fair, everyone tunes in to watch him get. I'm not going to go back through all that, but everyone tunes in to watch you get knocked out. It doesn't matter if they're watching to love you or hate you, as long as they're watching. In boxing, it doesn't really matter. You just want the eyeballs on you.
It's entertainment, isn't it? That's it.
That's it. That's where the money is. It's better to be known and hated than not known at all. So, yeah, well, it's interesting. We're interested to see how his career unfolds. There's also the British heavyweight title fight, Fraser Clarke against Jamie TKV. They had a bit of a coming together in the talkball studio, which I thought was a bit unexpected, really. I thought, I stuck it on. I thought this is going to be a bit of a boring interview. I think they got too much about him. But Jamie TKV, he's not happy with him, is he?
Nah, he was like, did you see the clip? He was like, oh no, I'm really scared now. And he's been all sarcastic, and I just thought, well, where's this come from now? What's going on, man?
It's a bit, it's a weird one.
Yeah, how do you see it going, Charlie?
Do you know what? It's tough because I think Fraser Clarke is obviously, he had a very good amateur career. He's got a bronze. I think he got bronze at the Olympics, and so he's a good boxer. But he's turned over quite old, so he needs to get a bit of a move on if he's going to move up the ranks. Which I don't think he's got the ability to become a heavyweight champion or anything, world champion. But he should be too good for guys at British level. Obviously, he had that war with Wardley, which was one of the greatest fights I've seen. Got iced in the first round and in the second one, and that knocked him down a few pegs. But he needs to. He can't afford to slip up to Jamie TKV. If he does, then I think he just becomes a domestic level fighter for the rest of his career, and it will just peter out into not much. So I think the pressure's on him. Jamie TKV, I was expecting to get beat quite easily by David Adelaide. And he didn't. I think it was up until the knockout. He was out boxing him, and obviously the knockout was very controversial, where the ref said break, and then he sort of knocked him out. But he was winning that fight for me, so he showed he's got some boxing acumen himself. So I think it's an interesting fight. I'm going for a Fraser win, but just because I think he should be too good for him. He should be.
I think it's Clarke's to lose. I think, as you said, he's got the kind of the experience now. He's older. This is kind of the fight to, if I want to say, make or break the career, but this is the fight now. If you're going to win, you've got to do it now and start kicking off.
I think it is, yeah. I think it is. I think he can't afford to lose, and if he wins this, he's got to start moving up the ranks quickly. As I said, I'm not sure I trust him to go. I definitely don't think he's going to go all the way, but you've got to move up to, after this, European level, or a couple more. Maybe one more domestic level fight and then kick on really quickly. But Jamie TKV, I was impressed with him against David Adelaide, so it's one to watch. But yeah, I think Fraser's got to come out and do it. It's on BBC as well, which is, boxers' new venture. Venture. I don't know what I make of it. I mean, it gets eyes. I suppose people are going to be watching, but yeah.
It was a bit of a throwback, didn't it? They used to do it on. Was it the old Prize Fighter back in the day, if you remember that? They used to do it on the old Freeview channels. I don't know, it's a bit of an interesting one, isn't it?
I'm just not sure how much money they're going to invest in it, and obviously boxers have lost Ben Whittaker now as well. It's good. It can only be good for boxing to have boxing on terrestrial TV. It brings new eyes to it. So it is brilliant. I'm just not sure how much they're going to invest. I think it will be these sort of level fights, British level, maybe Commonwealth, maybe a European, but I'm not sure they're going to get the massive fights down there, because I don't think BBC will invest too much. But it's good for that level of sport, and you get some British level fights. Bring up some of the best fights I've seen in history. So hopefully this will be one of them. I'm not expecting it to be too good a fight. I think it'll be a bit more technical, but or too exciting a fight. People enjoy technical boxing, of course, but yeah, I think Fraser gets the job done and then moves on from there.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you want in it. It's going to get more eyes. Hopefully, not going to get the best fights. Whereas the Zone pay-per-view, you're going to get the bigger names. So it just depends what you're kind of looking for. But let's see how it goes, man. Look, and as you said, British level have produced some of the best boxers in the country. So let's see, man. Let's 100%. See how it goes.
All right, nice one. I think that's everything we've got covered for today, yeah?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we return next week and we've got a win against Liverpool, man. But
Yeah.
let's see. All
We'll see how it goes.
right, man.
Right. Thanks everyone for watching. If you could do us a big favour, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know any debates you want us to have in the comments as well, and we'll take that on board. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Nice one.